I'm making a video here on the MAF sensor, mass airflow sensor on the QG15 E-Throttle. There's a 5-wire, right, as you can see it there. Right, well, it's good. But I'm teaching myself how to troubleshoot it. So, right, looking at it from this side, and on my left, we'll count it as pins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So pins 1 and 2 is the air temperature, the intake air temperature sensor. And 3, 4, and 5 have to deal with the mass airflow sensor. Right, so pin 5 is the 12 volts. I think pin 4 is the ground, and pin 3 could be the signal wire for the MAF. I just had to confirm it, right? Right, so I have it here on the scan tool as well. So on an open circuit, with it open, the voltage for the MAF reading 0. Right, the voltage for the MAF is 0, and the temperature on the intake temperature sensor is 44 degrees. Right, so just to confirm, we have the test light here. There's a LED test light. Right, so the reason for using the LED test light, because it allows a little current to pass through, so it wouldn't damage the ECM, the brain. Right, so if you watch the test light lighting red, so that means it's positive voltage. Right, that is pin 5. If we come to pin 4, right, pin 4 we get in a blue, so that could mean ground. Pin 3, nothing. Pin 2, nothing as well. Right, and pin 1, blue, so ground, right? Right, so just to confirm on the scan tool, with the circuit open, we get in it reading the lowest temperature, 44 degrees, and the MAF reading 0 volts. I have a 5K quarter watt resistor, right, that I'm using to test the circuit integrity of the back to the ECM. Reason I'm using this resistor, so the resistor will act as a load in the circuit and it wouldn't damage the brain. Right, I'm just pausing it here because there's one hand to hold the phone and to fit this wire. Right, so we have the 5K resistor in pins. Well, I calling it 1 and 2 from how I looking at it here. Pin 1 and 2. So pin 1 is the ground for the intake air temperature sensor. Right, if you notice, when it was open on the scan tool, it was reading minus 44 when the circuit was open. Now as we put the 5K resistor in, it dropped to 2 degrees. It raised to 2 degrees Celsius. So that shows that we get integrity on the circuit back to the brain. And there's an analog circuit. I'm not sure if the mass airflow sensor circuit on this is digital or analog, so I'm going to do the same thing and see if I get any change. Right, so we check it with the light, right? And with the light, we was getting ground on pin 1. If we check it from the left like how I have it. Signal wire for the intake air temperature sensor, pin 2, pin 3 showing us either ground or signal wire. Pin 4, got to figure out if it's ground or signal as well. And then pin 5 is battery voltage, 12 volts, right? So I just keeping the phone on the multimeter, camera on the multimeter. Alright, so we're in pin 5. Alright, battery voltage. Pin 4. .2 millivolts. Pin 3. 10.5 millivolts. Pin 2 is at 5 volts. 4.88. And pin 1 is 8.2. So I want to believe pin 1 and pin 4 is ground and is a pull down design, right? So as the temperature, as the resistance in the temperature sensor drop, it will pull this voltage down closer to ground. And that's how the brain will get the reading. Right? Right, so the test lights wouldn't tell you that, but it was able to point out the ground and the 12 volts. I confirm the intake air temperature sensor is a pull down circuit. So when I put the potentiometer to ground and I adjust it, the voltage, the temperature reading adjusting on the changing on the scan tool, right? So that confirmed the circuit. Right now I'm going to take off the mass airflow sensor to test that one, because I'm trying to figure out how to test the mass airflow sensor to get it to show up on the scan tool. Alright, the mass airflow sensor out. You can see it inside there. So I'm probing checking the resistance on the intake air temperature sensor, and it fluctuating between 1.4. Right, so as the temperature change, the resistance will change and it will read accordingly, right? So the other 3 pins is the pins for the mass airflow. So I'm going and check the resistance across them to see how it's reading. Alright, so this pin here is the 12 volts. This one here supposed to be the ground, and it's saying open. Right, so between the 12 and the signal, nothing. Between the ground and the signal, we getting 8.87 kilo ohms, right? That is between the ground and the mass airflow sensor. The 2 grounds, nothing. Between this one and ground, nothing. Nice. Intake temperature and ground, nothing. So switching the polarities to see if it have a diode that. When I switch the polarities, it have a diode apparently. So I get in 14.88 mega ohms. Right, so the polarity don't make much of a difference between these here.